Okay, so today we're going to be talking about sound devices and figurative language. This video is only going to be talking about the sound devices, and really the only difference between sound devices and figurative language is that sound devices are just focused on the sound that the words are making, whereas figurative language might be a comparison or an exaggeration or something like that. But a lot of times when I'm talking about figurative language, I'm also talking about those sound devices. Those sound devices are a part of figurative language. So before we get started, what you're going to do is on your note sheet, you'll see you have 3 columns. The first one has the term, the middle one has the definition, and the third one has any examples that you want to write down. Okay, remember when you're taking notes that you don't have to write down every single word that's on the slide. Also, feel free if you want to draw some sort of picture or anything to help you remember something, you are free to do that. These are your notes. So let's get started. First word we have is rhyme. Now, I know it might seem silly to have rhyme on here, but it is important that you understand what it is that makes words rhyme. And what that is that words sound alike because they share the same ending vowel and consonant sounds. Okay, so this is your definition right here. Words sound alike because they share the same ending vowel and consonant sounds. So our example over here is speech and teach. They share the long E vowel sound and the combined ch consonant sound. Okay, so this is your example. Feel free to add any others that you would like. And rhyme is when a word at the end of one line rhymes with a word at the end of another line. So this is the rhyme that we are probably most familiar with, the kind of rhyme you hear in certain poems or in nursery rhymes and songs, stuff like that. So here's an example. Hector the collector collected bits of string, collected dolls with broken heads and rusty bells that would not ring. Okay, so string and ring are at the end of the lines and they rhyme, so that is end rhyme. Oftentimes couplets have end rhymes, it's just the 2 lines rhyme. We have internal rhyme. Internal rhyme is when a word inside a line rhymes with another word on the same line. So within one line, we have words that rhyme. For example, Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven has a line that says, "Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary." Okay, so that just on that one line, we have dreary and weary. Those rhyme on the same line, so that's internal rhyme. Near rhyme, then, which is also called imperfect rhyme or close rhyme. This is the definition right here, and it's the words share either the same vowel or consonant sound, but not both. So that's what makes it different from just regular rhyme. For example, the words rose and lose, they have different vowel sounds. Rose has the long O, and lose has that oo sound. But they both have that S sound at the end, so that's what makes it near rhyme. They almost rhyme, but not quite. Then we have rhyme scheme. Okay, rhyme scheme is a pattern of rhyme. It's almost always end rhyme, but sometimes it's not, but usually it is. So to visually see the pattern, the rhyme scheme in a poem, you assign letters of the alphabet to represent the repeating sounds. Okay, so we're going to take a look at that on the next slide. So your example is on the next slide. Sample rhyme scheme is from the poem The Germ by Ogden Nash. You can go ahead and pause and read the poem if you would like. I just want to show you, I know they're not perfectly lined up, but this is what we're talking about when we talk about rhyme scheme. Germ and pachyderm rhyme. So we assign the letter A. Place and race rhyme with each other, but they don't rhyme with the words up here, so we assign a new letter, so they're letter B. Same thing with pleases and diseases. They rhyme with each other, but not with anything up here, so it's another letter. And then finally, infirm and germ, those rhyme with our words up here, so we go back to the letter A. If this doesn't make sense or you have questions about this, please be sure to pause and ask me about it, okay? Next, we have onomatopoeia, which we mentioned the other day when we were reading weather. And onomatopoeia is words that imitate the sound they are naming. For example, buzz, sizzle, squeak, wham, bang, pow. These are all examples of onomatopoeia. Hopefully, this is a review. So you have your definition right here. And then all of these are examples. If you want to add any other examples that you can think of, you may go ahead and do so. Alliteration is when consonant sounds are repeated at the beginning of words. When we use a lot of alliteration, it creates a humorous tone, kind of like a tongue twister, like this example down here. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, how many pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick? Okay, so that repetition of the P sound, that's alliteration. Okay, alliteration could even just be two words. It could be, Rachel ran. Because of that R repeated sounds, that's alliteration. Okay. Then we have consonants, which is similar to alliteration, except it's repeated consonant sounds, and it can be anywhere in the word. So our example right here says silken, sad, uncertain, rustling. The S sound is repeated not only at the beginning of silken and sad, but it's also in uncertain and rustling. So this creates consonants. An easy way to remember what consonance is you can hear the word consonant within consonant. So that'll help you remember it's a repetition of consonant sounds. Assonance, on the other hand, is repeated vowel sounds. Okay? Assonance often creates that near rhyme, that imperfect rhyme. For example, lake, fate, base, fade. Those words don't rhyme, but they all share the long A sound. So that is assonance, the repetition of vowel sounds. Take another little look at assonance. What vowel sounds do we see in these examples? The first one says, slow, the low, gradual moan came in the snowing. What vowel sound is repeated? Hopefully, you notice it's the O sound. Slow, low, moan, snowing. That's assonance. Shall ever medicine thee to that sweet sleep? In this line, we have the repetition of the E sound. The sweet sleep. That's assonance. Repetition, then, is the use of any element of language. It could be a sound, a word, a phrase, or even a full line repeated regularly in a poem. A poet often uses this to make an impact on the tone in their poem. So you see the example down here. The desert is my mother. She says, I say feed me. She serves me red prickly pear on a spiked cactus. I say frighten me. She shouts thunder, flashes lightning. So the repetition here is of this I say. Okay, she's trying to reiterate, to reinforce this idea that she is talking to, it sounds like Mother Nature or the desert. Okay. So we're going to stop here because that's all of our sound devices. If you need to rewatch any of this or pause or ask me any questions, now is the time to do so. Once you are finished with your notes, you can go on to the daily agenda, and there should be an assignment there for you. Okay?